What is up, guys? Wrestling Premiere is here. Bonus content once again. I do this occasionally whenever I feel like it or whenever I'm motivated, I guess. Looking back on the WWF career of Ken Shamrock, I often felt like he was a missed opportunity. But looking at how things transpired during the Attitude Era, I don't mind it. But honestly, Ken Shamrock was WWF Championship material in my opinion. His only problem was that he debuted during a time where mic skills were an absolute must. I mean, if he debuted 3 years later, then I believe he would have won the title. In this video, I just answer the question, right place, wrong time. Now, before this video starts, let me just say that I really want to upload the Rock and Stock Connection video. That'll come real soon. DX, Austin's title reigns, The Rock and Triple H's feud, that kind of stuff. Yeah, I'll do some stuff from there. Anyways, let's get into it. Okay, so we all know that Ken Shamrock was a successful UFC and MMA fighter, right? He's seen as one of the greatest MMA fighters in the history of UFC, well before 2006, I guess, and he ended up being the first inductee in the UFC Hall of Fame, and overall, he's probably one of the founding fathers of the UFC. Now, one thing I actually learned while making this video was that Shamrock competed in a couple of promotions beforehand. He competed in UWF, PWFG, and what two of those promotions, UWF and PWFG, have in common was that they were shoot styles, so basically, it suited Ken Shamrock. After becoming a professional MMA fighter, Shamrock abandoned professional wrestling up until 1997. When he finally returned to the world of pro wrestling, he signed with the World Wrestling Federation in early 1997. His first appearance on pay-per-view came at WrestleMania 13 when he officiated the critically acclaimed submission match between Stone Cold Steve Austin and Bret Hart. His official in-ring debut came on the April 7th, 1997 episode of Raw. He destroyed one of his Lion's Den students in a showcase match, I guess. They just wanted to legitimize the WWF in a way. They wanted the gritty, the rough side of wrestling. At least that's what the Attitude Era was. So Shamrock was a perfect signing for the WWF at this point. His first notable match in the WWF was when he faced Vader at In Your House Cold Day in Hell. On that night, well, both men delivered some stiff-ass shots to one another. During the match, Shamrock was a bit rough, and Vader eventually had enough, and he decided to shoot himself. He punched the hell out of Ken Shamrock. Vader, during the match, he told Shamrock to ease up, but for some reason, the world's most dangerous man didn't. It was a crazy match due to what was actually going on, and Vader's nose was broken due to this, and afterwards, Ken started to lighten up. He discussed this match in an interview about a year ago. Here it is, and I quote, "For me being able to go in there and have it against Vader, because me and Vader beat the crap out of each other. But I literally thought that's how it's supposed to be. When I had that match, I thought, okay, it's kind of like sparring, right? When you're not trying to knock anybody out, but you're hitting them and making sure they know you're there. So when I had the match with Vader, I thought it was a great match. And I remember going back to the locker room and people are looking at me. One of them said, 'Man, are you okay?' And then he asked Vader, 'Dude, are you okay?' And I thought to myself, I go, what are they talking about?" And they literally thought when me and Vader were in the ring that we win after one another. And I laughed and I was like, what are they talking about? And they thought for real when he hit me and did all those things that Vader was trying to hurt me, or I was trying to hurt Vader. And I thought to myself, well, I guess we did, because they believed it. So yeah, initially, Shamrock never understood wrestling. Throughout 1997, Ken Shamrock was seen as one of the best guys in the company. Bret Hart was a big supporter of his, and he credits the Hitman for being the one who helped him the most in transitioning from MMA to pro wrestling. As a matter of fact, Bret Hart even offered to drop the title to Shamrock when he was departing for WCW, but obviously Vin Man chose the showstopper. Anyways, Shamrock in the ring, he was an intense individual. He hit those belly to bellies, and that ankle lock was ruthless, and it seemed like he was gonna break his opponent's ankle in half. Long story short, he was a pretty solid in-ring performer, and I'd say he was one of the best in the first half of the Attitude Era. There were guys like Owen, X-Pac, and Shamrock. He fit right in there. Now, what I believe hurt Shamrock was his lack of mic skills. He was just basic. Outside of wrestling, Shamrock didn't need mic skills. He could just go in there and kick ass. He could have done that in the WWF, but that would have gotten in Austin and Rock's way. For me, my opinion, the perfect time for him to win the title was right after Montreal. Then and only then. Because after that, I can't give you a real time period where he could have won the gold. Austin was on fire, The Rock was getting there, and Foley, he had 3 title reigns with the longest lasting about 20 days. So there was no space for him in the main event scene. He was pushed hard, however, in his first year. He was destroying The Rock, Owen Hart, he won King of the Ring, and once again, he was seen as a legit WWF title contender. Now, I don't know if it was because of backstage politics, the clique and stuff like that, but on the bright side, he became Intercontinental Champion, so there's that. But seriously, Shamrock was at the right place, but at the wrong time. If he debuted in 2000, then I certainly believe he would have won the title. If Benoit won it, then what's stopping Shamrock? He had intensity, and he made every move look smooth. Now, should have gotten a mouthpiece, and that guy would have spoke for him, like Brian Cage and Taz right now. Something like that. He could just say some basic stuff, "I will hurt you," that's it. He didn't need to talk for 5 minutes or anything like that. And I remember in one segment, he said that he hates talking, but that's the only way he's going to get someone to come out to to the ring. Overall, his run in the WWF was decent, but it could have been better. If it wasn't for Austin and Rock, I bet he would have gotten the title. By the time he was leaving the company, like, he was relegated a bit. Now, this is just basically me talking about Shamrock random stuff. Chris Jericho was outsmarting him, and you just wanted to see Y2J get his ass beat. Oh yeah, who remembers when Shamrock locked HBK in the ankle lock, and the showstopper basically no-sold it by sucking on a freaking lollipop? At times, he was made to look like a meathead, but also a hero. Like that time when he tried to fight the entire ministry on his own, and he obviously failed, but he died trying, I guess. My favorite matchup of his was probably that triple threat steel cage match featuring The Rock and Mankind. It's a forgotten bout that I suggest you watch, and yeah, like, that's my favorite match of his. Now, rumor has it that not only management was to blame for Ken's underwhelming run, but also Shamrock himself. JR on his podcast a year ago, link is down below, stated that Ken was missing shows, and I quote, and then he missed another one several weeks later, but in the same ballpark. So I sent somebody for him at a TV taping, and I remember there was a loading dock, big loading dock. So I told Briscoe, look, I gotta go out there to talk to Shamrock. He ain't gonna like what I gotta say. If I ain't back in about 10 or 15 minutes, somebody come get me and take me to the hospital, will you? I meant it kind of half-assed, tongue-in-cheek, but you know, he had a short fuse, man. He was a little unpredictable. I said, Kenny, we had this conversation. Apparently you don't give a... And apparently I don't mean nothing in your life where you're gonna do what you're gonna do anyways. But that's not how it's going to work here. So here's where we are. I'm going to fine you a week's pay for missing this town. And no, you would not have made nearly this much money on the pay off the town. But I don't know any other way to reach you. And I think he was making at that time maybe 250, 300K, maybe 250 on the low end. So about $5,000 a week. I said, so I'm going to fine you your week or we can part ways. We can't do business this way. And I said, I talked to Vince about it. We're very disappointed. We see great things in you. And he apologized and he showed he was contrite. But it still cost him $5,000, and we laughed about it. Thank God in Las Vegas. But he has matured now. In that same podcast episode, JR stated that Shamrock could have main evented WrestleMania and became a megastar. So yeah, not only was it the wrong time, but Shamrock himself was harming his own push. He was partying and stuff like that, and he didn't care about, like, putting in the hard work. Like, he was doing hard work, but that extra hard work, that'll get you in the main event spot. He then left WWF in September of 1999 and returned to MMA. He did want to return to fighting, yet stay in the WWF, but a deal couldn't be met, and he decided to leave. He returned to pro wrestling in 2002, officiating a matchup between Bryan Danielson and Low Ki. He became the first NWA World Heavyweight Champion in TNA. He had an underwhelming run as a MMA fighter. Just to give you an idea of how underwhelming his run was, well, first of all, before leaving in 1997, Shamrock had a record of 25-6-2, right? Well, he currently has a 28-17-2 record. You do the math yourself. Currently, he competes in Impact Wrestling. I don't know why WWE didn't sign him 5 or 6 years ago. Probably because he has issues with Triple H, rumor has it. But he's decent in Impact by the looks of it. Yeah, that's your first video. Ken Shamrock, like, I wouldn't say he's a missed opportunity because Austin and Rock, like, what's better than that? You can't tell me there's something better than Austin and Rock as champion. But, like, Shamrock, wrong time. It's as simple as that. Right place, wrong time. He debuted 2, 3, 4 years later. Yeah, world champion. I bet you he would have won the title in like 2004. So yeah, Shamrock, right time, wrong place. That's it for this video. Make sure you hit a belly to belly on the like button and perhaps an ankle lock on the subscribe button. Peace. I'm out.